Hey guys, Evan Animation here with another video, and today I'm analyzing All In. The episode starts in a flashback. We see that Anne, Sasha, and Marcy pulled a prank on the school. However, when they are brought to the principal's office, Anne is told that she needs to write an essay explaining who she wants to be. We then go back to present day where everyone is still captured. Andrews explains to Earth that he's going to use its natural resources, but in the process, kill them. He then sends out two herons to destroy everything. The military shows up but fails to stop anything. Luckily, we see that Mr. X is coming and he's prepared. We then go back to the Resistance where Anne decides to use her powers to escape. However, the others don't want her strength to weaken, so they decide to use Frobo. He luckily destroys their restraints and gets them out of the castle. They ride away on Domino and Joe and land on a building. But when Hop Hop sees the herons, he identifies them as the herons that killed Sprig and Polly's parents. However, their moment of silence is called off when the others try to help the citizens of the city. They fight off a few robots but get backed into a corner. Thankfully, Anne's parents show up and help. Apparently, they've been working for Mr. X since Anne went back to Amphibia. They all follow each other to school where they start to plan a counterattack. While there, Anne goes to her locker and finds the essay. However, Sasha's the one affected by it. She asks if they will be able to defeat Andrias and save Marcy, but Anne calms her down by saying they will. We then see Marcy in the core for the first time. She's hanging out in a room solving puzzles until a door shows up. She goes through it and meets Andrias' father. She has no idea what's going on and some of her memories erased. He takes her mind off her worries by building a magical world that he knows she will like. But she continues to question things. However, he keeps trying and eventually stalls her. We then go back to the school where everyone is getting ready. Polly even fixed up Frobo using the school supplies. We then see that Sprig still has the note. He says he thinks it may be important. He also tells Hop Hop that he can't wait for life to be normal again and tries to deny the fact that Anne won't be returning to Amphibia. After their talk, the Resistance goes over the plan to defeat Andreas and save Earth. We then transition to Darcy, who is controlling the robots, and we see that, not for the first time, Andreas is remorseful. We then see a flashback of when he met Marcy. She calls him by the same name Leaf called him, Dreas. However, he doesn't like this, so she changes it. He then tells her that he will look for her friends and supply her with a home. Afterward, we see him talk to the Core about her. Despite the Core's recommendation, Andrews does not want to kill her. He says that the situation is overblown and they shouldn't kill a child. However, he needs to propose another idea. He says he wants to find the box and take the powers from Anne, Sasha, and Marcy. His father then comes out from the Core and congratulates him. Afterward, we go back to present day where Darcy and Andrews learn the others escaped. We then see everyone fighting off the robots, even Terry and Dr. Jan. However, after the planners see the herons, they start to have a nervous breakdown. Anne and Frobo just barely save them. We then transition to Grimes, Sasha, Olivia, and Yunan, who are trying to get the box, but they are secretly being followed. We then see Marcy again. Anne and Sasha show up in her dream and finally do whatever she wants. Back with Anne, she gives the planners an inspiring speech to overcome their PTSD from the herons. However, they are still sad. But when Anne's parents are attacked by the herons, the planners use all their strength to defeat it. They then use the Planter family hunting dance to mind control the herons to defeat the robots. We then see Darcy watching the whole thing. She sends Andreas to retrieve Anne. Meanwhile, Sasha and the others head towards the shield generator to turn off the force field. But the robots get in their way. Yunan and Olivia hold them off while Sasha and Grime press on. But they run into Darcy and start fighting. Back with the others, they fight off robots until Andrews comes out with a gigantic robot suit. He challenges Anne and says he will call off the invasion if she wins a fight. She wants to go, and although originally discouraging it, after Anne gives a speech about knowing who she is, the planners allow her to go and fight him. However, she struggles to keep up with his robot suit. While she fights, we even see the reactions of some of the people from her past. Back with Sasha, she and Grime fight off Darcy, but they aren't strong enough. And after a while, Grime, in order to protect her, loses his arm. He then gives an inspirational speech about how Sasha impacted his life, causing Sasha to start fighting Darcy with full force. While that's happening, Anne is still fighting Andreas. She says that she pities him for shutting himself off to the world. She then throws her sword at him but misses, and sadly gets thrown by Andreas and temporarily loses her powers. But Mr. X plays her favorite song on surrounding loudspeakers and causes her to get back up. The music inspires her and she gets an upper hand against Andreas. We then switch back to Sasha and Darcy. Darcy distracts Sasha with menacing faces of Anne and Marcy and successfully attacks her with her sword. Back with Marcy, she hangs out with the fake Anne and Sasha, but when they only do what she wants, she realizes that everything is fake, and some of her memory even comes back. She then talks to Andrus's father and refuses to become part of the Corps. In retaliation, Andrus's father puts her in eternal darkness where her personality will slowly fade. She sits alone and puts her faith in Anne and Sasha. We then go back to Anne fighting. She easily fights Andreas, but after a while loses her powers. Sprig decides to save her using boom shrooms, causing the note to fall out of his pocket and Mr. X's spyglasses to decode Leaf's message. Sprig quickly runs to Andreas to read it to him. He reads it and we see Leaf's life after hiding the box. Leaf says that she will always love Andreas. This causes Andreas to break down. He's clearly sorry that he can't undo what he has done. Sadly, his breakdown causes Darcy to force his suit to try and attack Anne. But before she can, Sasha gets her sword, and using Anne's word from earlier to strengthen her, she cuts the core's connection to Marcy. While she does that, Anne gains her strength back and tries to defeat Andreas. But when she realizes he has surrendered, it is too late and she is blasted right through him. We then see that Andreas has only stayed alive so long because of technology. But before we can focus on him, he urges Anne to save Marcy. She goes up to the tower and Sasha and Anne hold Marcy in their arms, saying they forgive her. She eventually gains consciousness and immediately apologizes for what she did. They forgive her and Anne gives her a speech about accepting change. But we see in the background that Sprig clearly isn't ready for it. After her speech, they hug it out, but we sadly see that the core is powered up again. At the end, Anne, Sasha, and Marcy go to Amphibia to make sure everything is okay there, while everyone on Earth cleans up the city. On Amphibia, the fight rages on, but when the announcement of Andrew's defeat spreads, the fighting stops. Sprig then talks to Anne about how their relationship will change. Anne says that if it does, they will get through it together. And at the very end, Sprig notices that the moon is moving closer. That was my analysis for All In. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time.